Welcome to the second episode of my trip to Russia, the most sanctioned country in the world. If you are new here, I am Vlada and I have been living in Finland for 17 years. I was born in a small village in the Karelian, the Russian side, so that's why I was traveling to visit my grandma. And in this episode, we will visit Saint Petersburg, we will visit my favorite places in the city. We will go to Dumskaya Tower, up there to see the city from up. Also, we will see some new technological advancement, like the scale which recognizes what you put on it. And we will see the transportation system in St. Petersburg, the metro and also the trams. Trams have a new transparent screens which I was impressed with. So let's go. I really like the Neva River and that it's so beautiful architecture wise. Just look at it. And the summer is obviously the best time to visit St. Petersburg. The white nights and the weather is nice. In the winter the city is not that great because it's gray all the time and it's slush in the ground. It's actually very similar weather to Helsinki if we can compare weather-wise. So the best time to visit Helsinki is also summer. Now let's walk towards the old St. Petersburg Stock Exchange building and also the towers or columns you see here, the red ones, they are called rostral columns and they are located on the spit of Vasilyevsky Island. And this is one of my favorite places in the city. Here the view is amazing and you can see here Peter and Paul Fortress. You can actually go inside the fortress and walk around there. And also in my previous travels here I even visited the tower itself, the yellow one you can see there. Now let's go to see the Palace Square in St. Petersburg, which is the main plaza of the city. It connects Nevsky Prospect and the Place Bridge, and it's famous for the historic landmarks. For example, the Winter Palace, which is State Hermitage Museum currently, and also the towering Alexander Column, which you will see soon. This time there was a lot of people because there was some kind of event happening. I don't remember what kind of event, but it was right there, and it was actually unusual because before I have never seen events happening here. Well, currently this place functions as a public gathering place for city celebrations or large open air concerts, but here I think it was some kind of sport event, to be honest. And I love Hermitage Museum, and also there is the staff building, at least that's how I usually call it, the yellow one you see in front. This is also very nice. It has a very interesting architecture because walking inside you feel like you are outside. They covered place between buildings with a glass roof, so it's very unusual to be there. Also, I recently got to know that Hermitage actually was colored differently before, that it has not been green all the time, which was a huge surprise to me because all my life it has been green. And now we will slowly go towards Nevsky Prospect and we will pass by the Triumphal arc. You can see right here. And this area in general usually has a lot of different sellers. They sell a lot of small stuff for tourists like magnets and t-shirts and stuff like this. And also there are some people singing and collecting money, as you could see. Some people are painting here and selling their paintings and stuff because this is a very touristic place and this is the easiest access from the Palace Square to the Nevsky Prospect. So here it's a lot of activities. Also there was some kind of open air exhibition. I don't remember what it was about, but a bit further there was exhibition with pictures about the Second World War. And it was a bit interesting to see that there is on the right side a lot of like different henna tattoos and different artists drawing, and then on the left side there are pictures war related topics. And then further on the same street there was a football team advertisement as well. So it was like a lot of different stuff in one place. And also I saw Labubu, which was a bit weird. You can see the thing here, and it was hugging children and stuff like that. Again, it's a lot of a contrast for the same street. And here we came to eat a bit of the cakes, and you can see the prices. For example, here one cake was 160 rubles was one cake, and then some were 395, which is like approximately 3.9 euros or 4.6 euros. The croissant was 120 rubles, which is like 1 euro, 1.2 euro approximately. But keep in mind that this was a year ago, so prices probably went up. Now we are on the next Nevsky Prospect, and look at this car. This looks very interesting. I think it's touristic cars. And here you can see the Kazan Cathedral and just a very nice view. I really like these views of Saint Petersburg. But now we will go up to the Dumskaya Tower. I before didn't know you can actually go up, but now you can. They do touristic excursions there. This is the clock, and it was very interesting to wait for it to start working. And they made there an interesting exhibition, kind of like. It's about flowers, if I remember correctly. But from this tower you can have a great view on the city. It really looks amazing. I think it will be even better on the sunset, but they don't work so long in the summers so that you could see the sunset, because the white nights and the sunset happens very, very, very late. But still, I think this is one of my favorite places in this city, at least from this trip, because of the views. And now let's move to the shop. And the thing which surprised me actually was this scale to which you just put tomatoes and it recognizes it's tomatoes, and then you just pick the correct tomatoes. We also tried to do it with the apricots just to see if it really will work, and it did work, which was really impressive. But it's not in all the shops. I only found it in certain shops. And now let's try the transportation system in St. Petersburg. Here we are going to the metro, and the St. Petersburg metro is very deep in certain stations, and I am actually always scared going down to the metro, but yet I think it's the most efficient way to move within the city. Some stations look very, very, I wouldn't say ugly maybe, but very flat. There is nothing, and they still have some old trains working. But then some stations look very beautiful, like this one, for example. It has a lot of little details, and it's very nicely looking. I really liked it a lot, but the escalators are still kind of old. And then some stations, they have new trains, and they look different. For example, this train is a new train. You can see it's a bit different style. And as well, some stations are closed format so that you actually cannot fall on the rails. It's impossible, but those doors are always scary for me because it's two doors which close. And now let's see a new tram. So this tram, which you can see now in the picture, is a new tram. And that is a tram which has a transparent screen. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what, really? The screen can be so transparent? It has some disadvantages compared to a normal screen, but obviously it has some advantages. So the disadvantage, you can see here that it's actually transparent. Like, you can see through very well, but then on a sunny day, you cannot see what you are clicking or what you are doing, like, at all. Here it's a bit better. For example, I can read at least what it says, and it's actually in English, by the way. You can pick English language here. In certain cases it's just you don't see anything, but here, for example, when it's a bit darker on the evening, you can see everything very nicely. and it looks very cool. Yeah, and on the evenings I think St. Petersburg is also great, very beautiful city. At least city center of the St. Petersburg is well taken care of, or so at least it feels, especially on the touristic routes. It looks great and there is a lot of things to do, and the buildings are actually renovated. Of course there are some buildings which are not renovated, but most of the buildings are. And one of my favorite activities in the city is actually walking next to the Neva River. Just walk around, cross the bridges, or sit and just look at the water, especially in the sunset or closer to the evening. So this is what we did with my friend there. We were just sitting and speaking. And now we can go to visit summer garden. It's a very accessible garden. It's like right next to the city center basically, and it's a public garden, so you can just come there. You don't need tickets. The park has a small, I don't know if I can call it a lake or a pond, but they had the swans there, which was very nice. And the summer garden is actually one of the oldest gardens in St. Petersburg, and it was a summer residence of the Peter the Great. They also have many marble sculptures here, as well as the fountain, and I think this fountain looks great, like amazing. And this is also a very nice place in the city to come and just hang around. That's a wrap for my trip. But one thing which I wanted to tell you as well, which started in the previous episode, is why I was traveling not through the closest Estonian border, is the queue, and you can see the queue in this video. Look how long is the queue. This all is the queue to go to Russia from Estonian side. And one of my friends was 8 hours standing in that queue, and you are just standing. I mean, if you're alone, you cannot go to eat, you cannot go to bathroom, you cannot do anything because your place will disappear. You can obviously agree with some people or do some other stuff, but in general, this is not a nice way to go visit your relatives, for example, but it is what it is. So thank you for traveling to Russia with me. Here you can find the first episode which shows the Karelia and the countryside. Thank you for watching and see you next time.